everybody and welcome back. Today was the last interval training session of the third type of interval training, and on Monday we will finally have the evidence which of all of three interval training kinds will be the most effective, as I'm trying to beat my e-bike time on an uphill which is around 3 kilometers long with 300 meters of elevation change. And today it was a bit cooler than usual. I started at the same time as I would during the week. Now the temperatures are on a level, or they keep approaching a level which is normal for end of September, as we had almost 30 degrees in the last few weeks, which isn't normal in September for our region. And next week, beginning from Monday, the highest temperatures will be around 20 degrees. So almost 7 to 8 degrees less than in the previous weeks. Let's see if I have to bring a jacket on my rides already. And I'm really questioning if I'm going to push until November to do the interval training to reach the time I was doing with my e-mountain bike. As you probably know, I estimated that around mid-November I will be able to reach the time I did with my e-bike. Obviously there I will have to put on my biking light, as it now is getting already dark at around 8 p.m, especially in the forest. It's already too dark at around 7:30 p.m. Seeing the good results from the last few weeks, I'm really pumped. Before every ride I want to do the reference ride as soon as possible. I cannot wait to push from the very beginning. Especially today I listened to some hardstyle music from D Block and Estefan, which set me in a very good mood. I was extremely motivated to crush today's goal, to crush today's interval training. But I had to play it safe, especially in the first 15 minutes, as that is only a warm-up session. And for all of you who have ever ridden an uphill, know that if you push too hard at the beginning, it can ruin your whole ride. What I noticed during today's rides, besides being that motivated by the music and my overall good mood, I noticed that the motivation faded quickly. So after the first few intense intervals, which are hard as usual, they don't get easy. It's just more enjoyable for myself. The motivation was gone. And this does not only apply to mountain biking, but to every other sport and life in general. That motivation, first of all, gets you going. It gets you off the couch, out of your bed, pushes you to do something instead of doing nothing. But what really keeps you going in the end, if you are up and running, driven by motivation, is discipline. And discipline is just like a muscle. You have to train it. If you slack off 1 or 2 times and your discipline has been good before, that's not a problem. If you keep slacking off more and more, the muscle gets weaker and smaller, and pushing yourself towards your goal gets even harder. So discipline can only be built by doing repetitions, by feeling anchored, by putting in the work. There is no other way around. I wish there would be another way to get godlike discipline. But the only secret is that the only way is to put in the work. But in the end, somehow the club of those who have achieved their goals is limited, as putting in the work is hard and not everybody wants to put in the work to actually pursue their goals. So they prefer to stay in their comfort zone. Pretty good quote I read recently was, "Comfort zone is a nice place, but nothing grows there." I try to keep that in mind every day, but to be honest, I'm slacking off too. So there are still a lot of moments left which I could push harder, where I'm staying in my comfort zone, which in the end isn't bringing me closer to my goal. Put in the work, even if it's hard, and you will be rewarded. Not by putting in first time, but after several times, after failing even more times, you will get the results. And another thing I noticed today, that I really got exhausted while those 20 seconds of intense interval, because I've chosen a too low gear. so I had to pedal at a way higher cadence. And today I decided to use a higher gear, 2 or 3 gears higher. Actually, I had to put in more force, but during those 20 seconds it was overall easier. Not saying that the interval has become easy, but it was easier. But another thing that I noticed was that if I stopped, I was completely devastated. Like the exhaustion somehow shifted from those 20 seconds to the actual rest phase. I don't know where that is coming from. Could be that my body adapted to those 20 seconds, that he's able to push for 20 seconds, and that my mind is only focusing on those 20 seconds until the timer goes off, and afterwards my focus is shifting back to my exhaustion, which is before blocked out by my thoughts only being focused on that one goal. And today I also crossed a mountain biker, telling from how he was riding, which gear he was wearing. I could tell that either he has taken the e-bike from a friend of him, or he rented it in some shop or something. Because I crossed him at the steepest part of the forest road. He was wearing no helmet. He was standing upright. You probably know when you started out, or in my case it was when I started out to ride, I didn't have the force in my legs to shift my body weight and my body center all the way to the back. So I started to stand up. But you all know, if you stand up and it happens to be that you have to brake hard or something, the risk of going over the bars is like 100%. And that without helmet, without gloves, without knee pads and so on. At that high speed, with such a heavy bike, I wouldn't suggest that to anybody. I guess there lies also the problem of e-biking people. Normally, if you go mountain biking, you take one step after the other until you reach the difficult trails. But with the e-bike, also unexperienced people, often without any guidance, get up high in the mountains and think, well, riding a trail cannot be that hard. And oftentimes they already struggle going down for, 20 minutes on a forest road, which is perfectly paved, as their forearms cannot keep up with holding the handlebar for that long time and braking continuously while going down. But we will see how e-mountain biking will evolve in the next few years. Seeing it from a amateur standpoint and also from a mountain biker perspective, I only see benefits of e-mountain bikes. If you're still not convinced of e-mountain bikes, you probably haven't tried one, and you definitely should. Otherwise, you're missing out. With that said, thank you for listening, and until the next time.